Hey everyone, David Code, the Co-Real Estate Group. Hey, welcome back to our channel on all things related to real estate here in the South Bay. Now that it's early June, I'm going to go back and take a look at where we are in the housing market, specifically focusing today on LA County. And the first thing we're going to look at here is where interest rates are. And you can see back in February, we got down to 5.98%, and there was a huge increase in activity. But ever since the war and then what's been happening with oil and inflation, rates are now back up into the mid sixes. So that is our rate environment. And then today, when we start looking at listings, we're actually going to take a look at LA County, but we're going to break it out into three separate sub markets. Number one is single family homes, number two is condos, and number three are townhouses. And all three of those are acting a little bit different. So first thing we're going to look at is we're going to look at the number of new listings. And you can see as of the end of May, there were just about 4,500 single family new listings here. But what's significant about this is if you look back to the last 3 years, when you look back in May of 2025, May of 2024, and May of 2023, we usually peak out with new listings in May. And this year we were on that rise, and then all of a sudden it just drops in May. So that's a pretty ominous sign, I think, for where we're going to be for the rest of the year, because you can see after May, generally the number of new listings drop off all the way until the end of the year and then start picking back up in the spring. A big reason is we look at pending sales. Again, when we look at the end of May, man, things just plummeted. In the month of May, we hardly had any absorption in the market here in LA County, and that's across single family, condos, and townhouses. And once again, generally, when we look historically, May of 25, May of 24, May of 23, the peak for getting properties in escrow is in May. And here we are in May of 2026, and we are down where we usually are in December for the rest of the year. So again, I don't know, maybe we'll have a recovery at the end of the year, but as of right now, it looks like we still have a lot of pent-up demand and pent-up supply as people wait for interest rates to change. When we look at month supply, this is where things really start to be interesting. Ever since the December day supply has been rising, and here at the end of May, we are at about 3.8 for single family, which is, still pretty much a seller's market. Townhouses are at 4.3, again, maybe trending towards a buyer's market, but look at condos. Condos are up 13% from a month's supply from last year, currently at almost 7 months supply. 6 months is considered a balanced market. Anything above that, it's a buyer's market. So right now, if you are in the market for a condo, it is a buyer's market. And if you have a condo to sell, you better be very aware of what pricing is like in your area and make sure you price it accordingly, or it's going to sit for a while. And the last thing we're going to look at are sales prices. And, when we look at the single family market, single families are still growing. We're up 2.9% year over year on single family market sales here in LA County. But condos and townhouses are down. Townhouses are down 3% year over year, and townhouses are down 7.2% year over year, which, really kind of shows the fact that it's a bit of a tale of two cities as far as the Los Angeles County real estate market is concerned. If you're in a single family house, there's not a lot of competition, but there's also not a lot of buyers. But if you're trying to sell a condo or a townhouse, you got to make sure you price it really, really well. And now is not the time to get the top end of the market for your place. So, hey, I hope this helps. I hope it's been a nice little insight into where things are. And as always, there are always nuances depending on where you are in the city. If you'd like some advice, we're here to help. David Code, the Co-Real Estate Group. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon.